Hi, folks, and welcome back to another Travels of Red Rover. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Corinne.
And we've recorded this about 20 times now. So let's try this one last time. And for everybody's benefit, Corinne, what are we doing?
We are sitting down for a chat with Craig Neeson of Craig Neeson Photography, another YouTuber, and his wife, Shelley.
And we had a great time visiting with them in the Black Hills of South Dakota and eastern Wyoming. We spent about 2 weeks photographing all kinds of interesting things. And if you've been watching our channel, you've seen some of those videos. Well, now we're going to start a new series. There's a series of chats between us, Craig, Shelley, and Corinne.
Yes, we'll talk about a variety of photography subjects and give you a little bit of background about ourselves that we maybe didn't explain earlier.
So we hope you enjoy them. The first clip is going to be on our channel, The Travels of Red Rover. And then next week, Craig will have the second clip, and it'll be on the Craig Neeson Photography channel.
So we'll be alternating back and forth, and also we'll continue to put up some of our photography excursions around the Black Hills, so you'll have a chance to see the sights that we saw and the wonderful photography locations.
And I have a good authority that Craig is going to be doing the same thing. So it'll be interesting to see our different takes on photography, on landscape photography, and hear us talk about them. So let's get started. Hi folks, and welcome back to the Travels of Red Rover. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Corinne.
And I'm Craig.
And I'm Shelley.
And we're here to talk to you about photography.
Craig, can you tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel?
Well, my YouTube channel is mainly about my landscape photography, and we throw in a little bit of geosplaining, which is a term I came up with when my wife has something cool to say. So basically, it's landscape photography in a nutshell. We cover some gear stuff and talk about other photography genres as I explore them.
And the channel name is?
Craig Neeson Photography.
And we'll put that down in the doobly-doo below. So, Shelley, what's geosplaining?
Well, that is basically where, if we're in a site that I find is interesting from a geological perspective, I just kind of sit down and kind of explain in the layman's terms how that came about, what caused this formation to happen, those kind of things. So
basically you're telling us it's a rock.
Not exactly, no. I kind of explain, if it's an interesting formation of rocks, how the rocks came to be. So, a little more in depth than that.
So, it's an important rock.
Yes. All rocks are special. You have to understand that. From a geologist's perspective, all rocks are special.
So from my perspective, if it's gold or silver or diamond, coal, those are all important rocks.
Important, yes. Well, for me, all rocks are important. If it's a schist or a gneiss or a pegmatite or even feldspars, anything, minerals, rocks, I love them all. So.
Yeah, I know, and this week we've been out looking at nice schist.
Yes, we have been. Yes.
There's been a lot of schist in there.
There's been a lot of
schist in the local area.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you, Shelley. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So, Craig, can you tell us a little bit about the type of photography you like to do?
Well, I like to say that I specialize in not specializing. I stole that from Rick Sammon, of course, but my favorite thing to do is landscape photography. I do some headshot, I do some portrait work, I like cityscapes too. So later on, probably next year early, I'm going to do a series on cityscapes photography and times a day to shoot, what objects to include, what to exclude, and how to find locations in your city.
Very cool. So you might wonder why the four of us are all together. Well, as it turns out, I met Craig on YouTube through the YouTube Photography channel on Facebook, and we started corresponding. And once we started corresponding, I started corresponding with Shelley, who was telling us about them going off on a vacation. And then Corinne and I said, well, you know, we're going to be up in the Black Hills of South Dakota and eastern Wyoming, and we thought it would be fun to get together.
Yep.
I mean, one of the things that we as YouTubers often find is it can be a pretty lonely existence out shooting your own videos all by yourself, week in and week out. And sometimes it's just a lot of fun to be out with some new folks.
Yeah, it's a good thing to get together, talk through compositions, share location ideas, see how we each view a location differently.
Yeah.
I mean, like last night, or the other night when we were shooting in that valley, that creek valley, we all went off in our separate ways. So it was like we each had our own little area to ourselves. And then we kind of got back together and, well, there's not really anything there. The light's not right. There might be something down this way. So, you know, most people think of landscape photographers as being solitary animals that are very skittish. They may run away when approached.
And we generally are.
Yeah. But getting together in a group is really cool, really fun. And, you know, this is the first time Shelley and I have gotten together with somebody else that does YouTube and landscape photography. And we're looking forward to other meetups and other get-togethers later on.
Yeah, I think Corinne and I are too. And we're having, by the way, if you can't tell, we're having a lot of fun. I mean, we've been actually out shooting with each other for the last week or so now. And, you know, what I think has been the most interesting thing for me is how differently we all see the same scene, and that's been really quite remarkable. I mean, that's always been true of Corinne and I, and then to add two more photographers out there and look at the way Shelley looks at something or the way you look at something is really quite remarkable, because I would never see that image necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great point, Shawn.
So, Craig, tell us what got you involved in photography?
Well, I've been in and out of photography since I was knee-high. And I was the little kid that always ran around with the 35mm film camera in school and got all the pictures for the back of the yearbook. So it's something that my mom thinks is genetic, because my aunt was a professional photographer all of her life in Northwest Iowa, and we've got other family members that have been involved in the photographic arts. And it's something that I've always been into. It helps me decompress, meditate, kind of thing, and it's something that's second nature. So it helps me to calm down and slow the world down.
Very cool.
And how about you, Shelley?
Well, you know, I always liked taking travel photos. I traveled a lot as a kid with my parents, and I took a lot of the photos. My dad had a tendency to put everybody in the shot, and then we had one of the little 110 cameras, and his finger would always end up over the people's heads and things like that. So I started taking a lot of photos. But beyond that, it was like when I started dating Craig, he was very into photography and taking photos, and we traveled together, and he'd be off shooting and I'd be just, you know, looking at the view or whatever the case may be. And it got to where I got kind of bored, and I thought, you know, I'd like to take a photo of this. Why not? So I'd borrow the camera, and I kept borrowing the camera more and more and more and more until finally we were fighting over the camera. And so finally he got me a camera, or got himself a new camera and gave me the old camera. And I started learning more and more.
I gotta say, it was your idea.
Well, yes, it was. It was. I said I didn't want an expensive camera because I didn't.
So how much is the
new
new one that you'd want to have? Can we get that? And I'm like, okay. What? Oh, so now you're finally on the bandwagon. It's the old, if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so eventually we both got a camera. And so we were both shooting. And I found that there was an Art Institute class that I thought looked interesting. I said, let's just take it. And he was like, oh, you can take it. No. I want both of us to take it.
Kicking and screaming.
So we took it together. And then they had a certificate program. So we took all the certificate program together and finished it up. And from that point on, it's just been both of us out shooting together. So it's been fun.
Really cool.
Yeah,
with one exception, of course. Early morning sunsets.
Early mornings are not my thing.
Early sunrises.
Sunrises.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes sunset is so early that it's actually sunrise.
Well, at this time of year, it feels that way.
But anyway, unless it's an epic location, getting both of us out there early in the morning for sunrise is kind of
difficult sometimes.
Yeah, I haven't perfected the coffee making, I guess.
You're working on it. You're getting there.
Well, thanks for joining us for this video. We hope if you enjoyed it, you'll give us a thumbs up.
And as always, if you want to know when we release videos and see our videos and keep track of us, please subscribe. And as always, if you want to know what day we release a video, please hit that bell button below.
Ding.
And if you have any questions or comments, or you'd like to know anything more about what we've talked about today, put it in the comments section below.
And we love hearing from you, and we love getting your comments, and we answer all of them. So thank you very much, and till next week, bye for now. I know you just saw us finish the video, and we appreciate all those likes and subscribes and comments. But we just wanted to remind you to go and visit Craig Neeson's photography channel next week for the next in the series. We hope you enjoyed it.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.